Hello, this is Walking with Jesus, a devotional journey through books of the Bible brought to you from Forest Hill Presbyterian Church. I'm Jason Van Bemmel. Well, we are on day 15 of our devotional walk through the book of Hebrews, and we're coming to the end of chapter 4. Today it's Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. We're asking the question, how does Jesus help us as our great high priest? Here's our scripture, Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. Since then we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus the Son of God. Let us hold fast our confession. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in time of need. That's Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 to 16 from the English Standard Version. Have you ever seen those AED machines hanging on the walls in a public place? Do you ever wonder what they're for? You might know that those are automatic external defibrillators. I've been trained a couple of times in how to use them. Maybe you have too. But do you ever think about them really? I guarantee there'd be one time that you would think of them, and that's when you needed one, right? You probably know the truth that Jesus is our great high priest. You may also know the truth that he is also our great high king and our great prophet. But what do those offices of Jesus really mean to you? When do you need Jesus to fulfill those roles in your life? Hebrews tells us much about Jesus as our great high priest. In today's passage alone, we learn that he has passed through the heavens. That means he is transcended. He's seated at the right hand of the majesty on high, as we read in chapter 1, verse 3. We also learn that we do not have a priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, which is kind of a funny way of saying that Jesus, as our great high priest, does sympathize with our weaknesses. He's able to sympathize with our weaknesses because he's been tempted in every way, just as we are, and yet he has never sinned. So we have a transcendent, sympathetic, and perfect great high priest. But what does that mean for us? It means that he can and will help us. Because he is at the Father's right hand, he is in a position to send us help from the highest seat of authority. Because he's sympathetic, he wants to send us help. He understands how hard it is to face temptation. Because he is perfect and has never sinned, he knows what we need in order to pass the test and resist the temptation. But you know what? None of this stuff does us any good. It's just abstract theological truth until one thing happens, until we see clearly the depth of our need. Once we enter into our time of need, then, and only then, do we need the confidence to draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Mercy here means sympathy and compassion. We receive sympathy and compassion. We find grace. Grace here means divine favor or help. You know, too often, I don't draw near to the throne of grace because I don't feel the depth of my need. I'm like a man having a heart attack within reach of an AED who insists it's nothing, it's just indigestion. I think I can handle it. I think I have it under control. But the truth is, I need help. When do I need the help of my great high priest? When is the time of my need? All day. Every day. So let's stop being so foolishly proud and so self-reliant. Let's be willing to humble ourselves, willing to recognize our need, and then drawing near to the throne of grace all the time. This is what it means to pray without ceasing, as Paul tells us to do in 1 Thessalonians 5:17. And this is what it means to fully and effectively rely on Jesus as our great high priest.